Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Pan-African News on Pan-African Television. We are live across 46 African countries and some parts of Europe. We're also live on Facebook at Pan-African Television. Coming up in the next 1 hour, residents of Bontebo take on government as they demand better roads in the farming communities. I'll tell you why shortly. Also coming up, we will interrogate the rising state of insecurity in Ghana. Is it failed government policies or institutions or just system failures? Zambians head to the polls in August to elect a new president. We will bring you the first part of our series on the 2021 Zambian elections. My name is Ivy Abna Dede Nakite. Do stay for the details of these stories and some others, including business, entertainment and sports. This is Pan-African News on Pan-African Television. My name, Ivy Abna Dede Nakite. The news in detail. Residents of Bontebo, a farming community in the Nkwanta South municipality of the Oti region, are accusing government of what they described as total neglect regarding basic social amenities in the community. Now, for years, residents say they have lived with deplorable roads and network, which is affecting farming in the area.
Bontebo is a major farming community in the Nkwanta South municipality of the Oti region. The area produces major agricultural produce, including cocoa, plantain, and timber. However, the road network in the area has been left in a deplorable state for years. Several attempts to residents to get government to improve the situation had fallen on deaf ears. According to them, the road was part of those that was awarded by former President John Dramani Mahama, but nothing has been done so far.
Especially Bontebo Kwine with the say papa I think do over brainy. Almost on Babe Quine Ame. A roof voting and almost the Oman Rabbit that I never voted. Yenya voting no more we near. I say you won't be obey or decline for. Bet me about so Babe boy near Quine or ye bridge a book and Fimi noni. On my bed to town for ni. Eddie a quarter piece FM ne. Adam ye and take a Omoka asa. And yet do some announcement in the pay and pum to be a best afi a chia baseo and that died dear Bonte almost market and I'm moody more how I bet you him until soon Abamos and that day Baba Buamo ye no bibia.
Say you know Chama or Bontebo. Near bread. We should to see a master do our cast with the criminal crossing shoe and vigilance and multimillion ethnical. Sometimes Kura to make a Mekaba, I was shocked to see and I'm say, Sunday run Solomon Canum Mini. I make a jack or two. My mobile child videos we can crown number 55255. GT. And I send a no chance and look away. So, Bray, I have 3 years to 4 years now. They are too much.
Chief of Bontebo, Nana Kakari, is accusing successive governments of using the road as political gain to win votes. The deplorable road network, according to him, is affecting healthcare delivery. Residents of Bontebo are calling on government to redeem its promise on completing major roads in the country and the its flagship project, Year of Roads.
But quite intimate. Yes, Rabbi said, or bridge in my.
That is the nature of roads at Bontebo in the Year of Roads. Away from that, residents of Teye and neighboring communities in the Sagnarigo municipality of the Northern region are unhappy about the diversion of the main road linking the community to Tamale Township by a contractor who is constructing a bridge to link the Fu and Teye communities. The residents are demanding authorities to step in to avoid shoddy works.
Links the Teye community to neighboring ones, including Fu. The road serves as a linkage to the dumping site for the Tamale metropolis, but has been in a deplorable state. Residents, however, saw light at the end of the tunnel when the road was given to a contractor to improve the structure. They are, however, unhappy with the current state of construction works, accusing the contractor of doing it shoddily.
All the zoom down, this road is very important for people. Farmers, zoom down, tipper trucks, whoever else, they are passing here. So it's not a way that which can lock. No. If that thing happen, town will be full of smell. Town will be full of smell. And that thing to be ashamed to our elders. The last time, the reason why they bring the gravel stones, it was one of the contractor have machine there, and he know that the little or the days that pass, his business is going down, and they use one or two, three tipper trucks, and they bring it and fill it there. It's where that I get space to relax in the house or to start my.
The situation, according to residents, has led to massive flooding anytime it rains due to the diversion of the road. Several attempts to get the contractor to do better job, according to the residents, had not yielded any results.
The issue here has to do with this particular gutter that is just right beside us. This serves as a link between our community to the rest of the metropolis. And over the period, perennially, we've been having major flooding in this particular area as a result of this particular gutter outflowing its boundaries. And that this year they have come, glory be to God, to actually construct a culvert for us that will aid in the smooth passage of the wastewater. Ideally, the problems has to do with the way and manner in which they are handling the construction work. And that is what has actually brought about this scuffle between the indigenes of this area and then the contractor. First, the problem had to do with diversion. Ideally, when you come to construct a road and then you have come to dig on the main road that we were plying on, necessarily it would have been good that you actually give us a diversion where we can actually use, and then pending the finishing or the completion of the main or major road. But here lies the case, we've not provided an alternative for us. And then the one that we were using, that is the major site for construction work.
Then African Television is monitoring this development and will keep viewers updated.
Well, still on community reporting, we take you to the Greater Accra region, where Member of Parliament for Lejo Kuku constituency, Benjamin Teye, has begun distribution of street light with the aim to light up communities in the municipality. Now, the initiative forms part of activities to mark his 100 days in office as Member of Parliament for the area.
Member of Parliament for Lejo Kuku, Benjamin Teye of the National Democratic Congress defeated former Member of Parliament Dr. Bernard Okoboy of the New Patriotic Party by a margin of 1,866 votes to win the Lejo Kuku seat in the 2020 parliamentary elections. As part of activities marking his 100 days in office, Benjamin Teye has initiated a street light project aimed at improving security at night in the constituency. The legislator expressed worry in the rise in robbery activities and the creeping state of insecurity in the constituency.
Visibility in the night very, 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 very low, and there's been a lot of back snatching, food snatching, and others. So I'm presenting a number of street lights to be fixed in all the areas in the constituency.
Benjamin Teye also expressed worry about the abandoned road project in the Lejo Kuku constituency.
I tried my own initiative. I was able to send a grader to grade a road to make it a little motorable. So I can't tell when we were there. But very soon the rains will set in, and I know it's very bad. I'm making available a grader to undertake that tax so that the people living in that area will also be able to drive on a good road. No, just to make it motorable. But the long term, we'll be liaising with the Assembly and the Ministry of Roads and Highways, the urban roads, to, find a fast, lasting solution to the problem. That is, working on it once and for all.
For the improvements in the social status of the constituency, Benjamin Eyiku called on total support from constituents to achieve his objectives.
I've urged everyone here to think about attention. The elections are over. It's time for us to forge unity and to think about development in our community. I urge everybody to bury their differences. Let's unite as one family. Have the assembly, the MCE, and all other agencies to develop testing.
Well, the Member of Parliament for Lejokuku constituency has initiated the street light project in order to improve the security in the constituency. And part to this, today we are going to look at the state of insecurity in Ghana. Ghana is ebbing into a state of insecurity with a rising level of criminal cases. What is more worrying is the nature of criminal activities, including those committed in daylight robbery. Different reasons have been assigned for the creeping state of insecurity in Ghana, but missing are the main causes of these. To interrogate this further, we have been joined in on the phone by Adib Sani. He is the security analyst. Adib, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thanks for joining us on today's news.
My pleasure.
Adib, let's look at the state of insecurity in this country. First of all, what would you attribute the state of insecurity in Ghana to?
To invest in situational crime prevention. Unfortunately, the systems we have in place doesn't deter crime enough. The crime investigation process largely remains we don't leverage modern technologies such as DNA or even biometrics. Detectives still use the paper. Anyway,
well, please.
Secondly,
Hello?
okay.
I can hear you, but I hardly hear you. Kindly position yourself well so I could hear you clearly.
No. Is it better?
Better. Kindly go ahead.
Wonderful. So, like I said, the thing is, for years on end, since 2017, crime is being on the increase.
Hello?
Yeah, hello. Oh, hello.
Hello, Adib.
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I'm walking around all over. The network these days is...
So can you find a better place and position yourself, please?
Oh, okay. All right. So is it better now?
Right.
Is it better?
It's better. Go ahead.
Wonderful. So crime is on the increase since 2017. According to police statistics, even the U.S. Department of State, in their travel advisory warnings to Ghana published in 2019, and even the last one published in September last year, points to a growing sense of insecurity in the country, especially with serious crimes such as robbery, assaults, etc. The murder rate still remains beyond 500 annually, and it goes without saying that a lot of these cases even go unreported. So obviously the security situation is not getting any better in the country. So it amazes me when the National Security Minister goes to Parliament and says that security is improving in the country. And I think it is part of the problem, because if the people don't know the facts, if you don't tell the people the real facts of the matter, they let their guards down, they become nonchalant to their security environment, and that is where you have a lot of us becoming unaware of our security environment, either at home, at work, or even in the streets. In the US, they have what they call threat assessment, which is published annually. And the last one published just about a week or two ago points to the fact that the biggest security threat to the U.S. over the year has been COVID-19, and of course threats from Iran and Russia and North Korea. The people deserve to know, because when they know, they are also able to take practical measures to protect themselves. Because like I always say, the security services, they cannot do the work alone. They need us. So how do we engender that trust and confidence? By first of all knowing the truth. So for the National Security Minister to posit that security is improving in the country is part of the problem. Secondly, generally the Ghanaian attitude is also another gray area worth talking about. The habits we exhibit on social media, the information we give, our indifference to our security environment. You have still Ghanaians going to bed without locking their main gates. We are generally reactive to issues of security rather than being proactive. As a result, we wait until something happens before we start running skelter looking for solutions. So I think that education is key in improving the general sense of security in the country. Believe it or not, there are still some Ghanaians who would be called by these scammers, mobile money scammers, telling them that they mistakenly sent them money and that they should return the money, and they fall for it. You and I might be aware, okay, but there are still a lot more people out there who aren't aware. So I think that education is extremely key. Thankfully, for the first time in the history of Ghana, we have a national cybersecurity advisor to government who works closely with the Ministry of Communication. We also have a national cybersecurity policy document that was first passed in 2016. And as part of those pillars is public education. I mean, even though it's going to be supported by improving government infrastructure.
Adib, well, do you think that growing insecurity in Ghana is as a result of, failed government policies or institutions? Kindly come clear on that.
Obviously so. There's no denying that fact. But like I said, we cannot blame government alone because we are part of the problem. But largely it's because government has failed to invest in digitalizing or modernizing crime, fighting in the country. Usually criminals should be deterred from committing crime. It's the best way of ensuring security. However, when you have an environment where crime is not, you don't put structures in place to deter crime, obviously more and more people would go into it. We don't have enough crime labs. We have one in Accra and Kumasi. So what it means is if a crime is perpetrated somewhere in Upper West region and the evidence is being moved, it has to be moved all the way to Kumasi or to Accra. And we know that evidence expires. In some cases, it can get contaminated in transit. You can imagine DNA evidence. We also failed to invest in human security. It is the very fundamental, sustainable way to improving security, and it's consistent with the Sustainable Development Goals, because there's a direct correlation between human security and physical security. You know that some go into crime as a means of survival. Others who lack opportunities, such as the lack of jobs, no money, no water, no shelter, lack of healthcare, in rural areas, move towards the urban areas in search of better opportunities. And when they get to the urban areas, such as Kasua, Ashama, and their expectations are not well met, that is where you get them becoming frustrated, disenchanted with the system, and you see them going into the land guard enterprise or even joining vigilante groups or later on becoming armed robbers. So it is important that we approach the issues of security in the country from a multidimensional perspective rather than just the investigate and prosecute way we will prosecute a manner in which we conduct security.
Right.
It is not sustainable.
Adib, thank you for your time. We do appreciate. So we have been in conversation with Adib San. He's a security analyst. We do know the rising number of insecurities in this country, and he has been highlighting more on that for us. Now let's do away with that story and do some stories from our Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission on Monday presented 16 pink sheets and other documents on the 2020 Techiman South constituency parliamentary elections to the Wenchi High Court in the Bono region. Now the court presided by Justice Frederick Arnold Nawura had in an earlier hearing directed the Electoral Commission to produce the original copies of the pink sheets for examination.
The order for the documents, including a summary sheet for the 267 polling stations in the constituency, followed an appeal by Christopher Bansonti Bayri, the National Democratic Congress parliamentary candidate for the constituency. Bansonti Bayri filed an election petition at the court challenging the outcome of the December 7, 2020 parliamentary elections. He is praying the court overturns the EC's declaration of Martin J. Mensah Kosa, the New Patriotic Party parliamentary candidate, as the winner of the parliamentary seat, and has accordingly sued the EC, the Clerk of Parliament, and Martin J. Mensah Kosa, who has since been sworn in as the Member of Parliament for the constituency. At its hearing last Wednesday, the Wenchi High Court directed that only original copies of the documents will be allowed and not the photocopied ones earlier filed by the EC. The court directed the EC to file the documents and awarded cost in favor of Bansonti Bayri for failure of the EC to properly produce the documents as directed earlier. The court also directed Kwabena Dramana Frempa, the Techiman South EC's returning officer, to answer interrogatories filed by the petitioner. The Techiman South parliamentary election process was characterized by violence, resulting in sporadic shootings by security operatives to maintain law and order.
Now, we have been trying to speak with the NDC's lawyer, Amaliba, for his reaction with regards to this. But as to when he gets in touch, we'll highlight more on that. Now, the first phase of the 5 days inspection tour of the landfill site by the Select Committee of Parliament, Finance, Local Government, Works and Housing, Environment, Science and Technology and Innovation came to an end at the Ahafo and Bono region. That's more.
The tour, which started from the Western region through to Western North, Ashanti, Ahafo, and Bono region, was to ascertain the progress of work on the AgriCorp projects, an initiative started by Zoomlion Company in various parts of the country to address the worsening waste management situation in the country. 12,710 tons of solid waste are generated daily in Ghana, leading to waste management crisis due to improper waste management systems. The Ahafo region generates 247 metric tons of waste per day. Out of 6 districts in the region, 4 regions would benefit from the AgriCorp project, while the other 2 regions would benefit from the Bono region due to proximity to the Bono region. The regional minister for Ahafo, George Boachi, indicated that the project will help create jobs for the municipality and also help manage wastes.
I can foresee that about 2,000 direct and indirect jobs are going to be created as a result of this project. And then secondly, as a result of this project, you produce fertilizer, which can be used by our farmers to increase both cash and food crops in the region. And then lastly, we will be able to manage our waste problems well in the region, especially in the regional capital here.
The Bono region generates 300,000 to 500,000 metric tons of waste a day. The project will be constructed on a 50-acre land. This will involve waste treatment as well as liquid waste treatment. This will help manage the waste in the municipality. The regional minister for Bono region stressed that the project would be of benefit to the municipality as they would be able to manage waste and also create job opportunities.
Blumantam and Kaka Yesunya had a dear, cut the whole gun at so. Now, said you met the Sadia Betches, let's hear Shimukina. Fancy maybe a Chomabian, a country of Bolagunia, a whole yamma. The can will be now by no. Yama pan and I drive a Kufado, and MVP by Asomu. Not Zoom Lion Ghana Limited, so I support you. I'm a age medley. The HS said, I only dear back one kind, the back was so. I'm on my Mutia, Yadian, Nipabana Hoarding, the Jobia area, so back one kind. That was say to me, say, important was I want one hour, or now called Massa. You go or attend to it with that confidence. You said you ever what.
Emmanuel Jemfi stated that the committee is impressed with the work done and commended Zoom Lion Company and the government for this initiative.
Side media, you know, Bebois Amasa or how many if you your court takra the same who say a year ball and now yet to go no, we see pollution, Nisa no manomani, side media, we are air cosono, Bebois, Amaya, how many if you na we ya ban ni swadi hunu ba ko a opesa oye na oboa se de be ya ye waste a ye generate no ye betumi akrakra ne kama waste na nkasa ne duru ba bi a ye nya de papa so ye de be efirimu se de ye kan se sa waste ya ye ba be ye ne kama ye benya compost ye de be efirimu sa compost no ye de ye ku adwuma ma bibia tumi ko kama ebiom yes, our plastic waste in this way, woman, no, ye recycle, and also you to the normal P. And also I didn't pass work a cry ever. Now, the toss of you a Juma, sir, and a more you two, a Bema and Crancraft, this way the way, and Sir Ayadebe, a call mano.
Construction works are expected to be completed by August. Now let's go back to our former story where the EC presents pink sheet to Wenchi High Court on phone. Joining on phone is head of NDC legal team, lawyer Amaniba of the NDC. Lawyer, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Lawyer, we do understand the EC has presented pink sheet to Wenchi High Court. What does this mean to the NDC?
No, it means that we are getting close to knowing the truth. Don't forget that in Wenchi, the Kechima South, it's actually Kechima South constituency, which is in the Wenchi Court. So in Kechima South, there was no collation of the results. And so we requested for the inspection of the collation sheets as well as the summary sheets. It was yesterday that they came with those documents. They realized that on one of the sheets, the name written on that sheet was a different constituency, and then they canceled it and then superimposed Kechima South on it. We think that we'll cross-examine that during cross-examination. But what is left is the interrogatories, which has to do with questions that we want the EC to answer. But for the inspection, it was done yesterday. What is curious is that the EC officials came in some few minutes to the end of the day. The court gave us from 9 to 4:30. They had come around 3-something, waiting in their car, refused to come into the courtroom or the registrar's office if you want. And then when it was getting close to 4, they decided to come in with the documents. They dropped from their cars and came in. Now, when the inspection was ongoing, then the lights went off in the whole of the Kechima township. And so when we finished inspecting and we said we wanted to photocopy, they thought that we couldn't photocopy. But knowing that this could happen, we brought our generator as well as our photocopier. And so we did the photocopying from our photocopier as well as our generator. We outsmarted them on that score. So this is what happened yesterday.
Lawyer, does this change the state of the NDC?
Does it do what?
Change the state of the NDC, the case of the NDC's case.
No, we still maintain that the NDC won that seat, and that is why we are asking for these documents to be produced. And from the conduct of the EC, where they are playing hanky-panky games with us, it is becoming clear that the EC did something untoward in that election. And so we are happy. We are happy that the court is making such orders for discoveries before the start of the case. Okay, and what do you think will be the result of the case? What do you think? No, the evidence will show. I am not going to predict, but the evidence will show. And once the evidence is in our favor, definitely we'll see the verdict in our favor. But the evidence is what will show. All right. Lawyer, thank you for your time. Lawyer Amaliba is the head of NDC legal team. The EC presented pink sheet to Wenchi High Court. We do know what happened at Wenchi during the 2020 election, presidential and parliamentary election. Let's move to Zambia to see what is happening in that part of the world. Now, on 12 August 2021, Zambians are expected to go to the polls to elect a new president. The incumbent president is facing a stiffer competition from Freddie Mbembe, the presidential candidate of the Socialist Party of Zambia. In the first part of our series on the Zambian elections, we take a critical look at the developmental situation of Zambia.
On the 12th of August 2021, Zambians are expected to head to the polls to choose their 7th president to lead the country. The incumbent president, Edgar Lungu, is facing a stiff opposition from Fred Mbembe, the presidential candidate of the Socialist Party of Zambia. The 2021 elections is expected to mark a turning point in the affairs of Zambia. A promise by the Socialist Party of Zambia to reverse Zambia's slide into privatization and deindustrialization, social processes that have damaged social life in the country and created a sense of despondency amongst the masses, seems to be on the edge with that of a collective leadership promised by the Socialist Party of Zambia. The neoliberal policies pushed since the end of the government of Zambia's first president, Kenneth Kaunda, have been very catastrophic for Zambians. This, according to the Socialist Party of Zambia, is creating an enormous time bomb for Zambians. Zambia is a rich country with poor population with an estimated poverty rate between 40% and 60%. A World Bank household survey conducted in June 2020 indicated that half of the families that relied on agriculture saw a substantial loss of income, and 82% of families that earned income from non-farm businesses saw their livelihood shrink. According to the World Bank, remittance flows into Zambia also declined. In 2019, before the coronavirus pandemic, the Global Hunger Index found the hunger situation in Zambia to be alarming. In November 2020, Zambia defaulted on a $42.5 million payment towards a Eurobond. President Lungu's government has since been in talks with the International Monetary Fund, hoping to get a bailout without stringent austerity measures. Such austerity measures, including cuts in public services, could jeopardize President Edgar Lungu's chances in the August 2021 elections. In early March, however, reports indicated that significant progress has been made toward an appropriate policy package, but no details or timetable has been released.
These issues affect human beings on a daily basis. They affect our people every day. We have already started witnessing job losses. Jobs are being lost on a daily basis. We are not gaining jobs. We are not creating jobs. We are losing jobs on a daily basis. Corruption is still an issue. The limited resources being contributed by our people through taxes and other charges, and even through borrowings, are being siphoned off. We can't continue borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. When they were being asked to reduce borrowing or stop borrowing, they said they will not stop. Those who are telling them to stop borrowing can go to hell, they'll keep on borrowing. I don't know if that is out of arrogance, ignorance, or sheer stupidity.
Copper is the major export earner for Zambia. According to reports, Zambia's copper production had reached 882,061 tons. This was an increase by 10.8% from 2019 figures, making it a historical high. Given the move to electric cars and to more high-tech appliances, copper wiring is certain to be in high demand. Zambia, with huge copper reserves, is hoping to cash in by producing more than 1 million tons annually. However, there are 4 companies dominating the Zambian copper industry, leeching Zambia of its resources. Poverty levels in the Copper Belt province, the heart of Zambia's wealth, is very high. 60% of the children in this copper-rich area cannot read, with multinationals the major beneficiaries. These and other factors bordering on total national development are sound reasons for change as Zambians go to the polls in August. The data sets Zambians will have the opportunity to redirect the destiny of their country. Well, Zambia goes to the polls on August. Let's see what happens. That report was put together by the news team. You're still watching Pan-African News on Pan-African Television. We take you to the world of business after the short break. Now let's do some business. Reports from the market and consumers of egg indicate falling standard of quality of egg. Several reasons assigned include shortage of poultry feed, including yellow corn. We have been joined on phone by Michael Ampim, President of Greater Accra Poultry Farmers Association. Michael, good afternoon. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Michael, good afternoon. Welcome to Pan-African News.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me.
Michael, have you noticed the falling standard of quality of eggs on the market?
I think that it's not a falling standard in the quality of eggs. We are in the hottest periods of the year. March and April are the hottest months of the year. So what happens is that since egg does not like heat, egg prefers a cooler environment. And the heat, now as we are experiencing now, we'll be doing, usually we do about 25 to 28 degrees Celsius. As of now, today, we are doing about 35, 36 degrees. So you have almost 10% increase, 10 degrees increase in temperature. So the shelf life of the egg is reduced. The egg deteriorates very fast. So it's not a reduction in quality in terms of production, but it's the shelf life that is affecting it.
Mike, is it affecting sales in any way?
Of course, it does affect sales because if you do not sell the eggs, you don't turn it over quickly, then the eggs get bad, and then you have to dispose of them. So that is actually the problem. And then there's also somehow the eggs are not moving. So you are torn between how to preserve the eggs and then how to get them sold. And the eggs are going bad. So it's actually affecting sales.
Does the quality of poultry feed affect quality of eggs?
Yes, the quality of feed generally is input-output. So if the quality of the feed is bad, then it will not necessarily affect the egg. What will happen is that the bird itself will not lay. That's what will happen. the bird will not lay because the bird is not getting the required nutrients that it needs to be able to lay. So what it may happen is that it may eat to stay alive, but will not have enough to lay because it takes a lot of nutrients for the bird to form the eggs. So if you give it poor feed, it will just cut off. It won't lay. That's what will happen.
Well, do you have ingredients to manufacture the feed, especially the yellow maize?
No, yellow maize and white maize are the same. The only thing is the pigmentation. The pigmentation, the yellow goes to help make the yolk yellow. What will happen is that if the maize is moldy, it doesn't matter whether it's white or yellow. If the maize is not properly dried, it doesn't matter whether it's so that the moisture content is high. It doesn't matter whether it's yellow or white. But or if there are weevils in it and it's become powdery, it doesn't change in anything. But what will happen is that if the one milling the maize decides that he or she is going to use that for his or her feed, the eventual thing is that the birds will not lay and the baby die. They may suffer liver problems and die because and then the kidney will also not function well because you are giving the load of poison that you are giving to the bird will be too heavy for the kidney to process, so the birds will die. So normally you do not even get to the eggs for whether to a problem. The birds will either not lay or will die. That's what will happen.
Michael, before I let you go, kindly give us the indication of prices of maize. Are there enough maize on the market?
Maize is currently it's a very dicey thing because there was a shortage and then it looked like the situation was normalizing, but as we speak, it's beginning to become a bit tight again because you see the prices climbing. And once the prices are climbing, and this around this time is a planting season. So where the last stocks that there is being depleted. So if we do not have any buffer anywhere that we can release into the system, there's going to be a problem. So I mean, for now, I think that we are dealing with an uncertain situation.
All right, thank you, Michael, for your time. All right, so we have noticed the falling standard of quality of eggs on the market. We have been in conversation with the president of Greater Accra Poultry Farmers, Michael Ampim, giving us more clarity on that. You are watching Pan African News on Pan African Television. International news is next. Now let's do some international stories. On April 11, the crucial Natanz nuclear facility in Iran was attacked. Now the attack took place at a time when negotiations were ongoing to revive the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or the Iran nuclear deal, an agreement which has many opponents in the region. Now, however, if the attack was intended to derail the deal, it clearly has not worked.
While Iran announced that nuclear enrichment would be increased to 60%, talks continued to restore the deal. On Saturday, participants of the JCPOA Joint Commission announced that there had been positive developments. Enrique Mora, the European Union's Deputy Secretary General and a delegate at the JCPOA Joint Commission talks in Vienna, asserted that progress has been made in a far from easy talks. According to him, details need to be worked out before the US rejoins the deal. Iran's chief negotiator, Abbas Araghchi, was quoted by Iranian Press TV on Saturday, April 17, as saying that the talks have reached a stage where parties are able to begin work on a joint draft and a new understanding is taking shape. And now, there is an agreement over final goals. This was in line with what Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif had said during a meeting with parliamentarians last Monday, where he listed the achievements from the ongoing meeting of the remaining signatories of the JCPOA in Vienna. The remaining signatories of the deal, the United Kingdom, Germany, France, Russia, and China, have worked out a mechanism to engage both Iran and the US in a joint commission meeting where they are meeting separately with Iran and the US and trying to find a common ground to revive the nuclear deal. Prior to the meetings, Iran had made it clear that it will not be negotiating with the US in any form until the latter lifts all sanctions immediately. Iran's insistence is based on the argument that unilateral sanctions were imposed in complete violation of the JCPOA, and this forced Iran to scale back its commitments. Iran gradually scaled down its strict adherence to the provisions of the deal from November 2019 after waiting a year for the remaining European signatories, that is, the UK, Germany, and France, to take measures to prevent the US sanctions or devise plans to safeguard Iran's interests. In December last year, the Iranian parliament passed a law making it binding for the government to withdraw permission to international inspectors from the International Atomic Energy Agency to inspect the country's nuclear facilities. Iran claimed that paragraph 36 of the JCPOA gives a member the right to scale down its commitments as remedial measures. If one or more parties of the deal violate its provisions, Iran has more than once claimed that all these remedial measures are reversible once all US sanctions are lifted without any further conditions. Zarif had pointed out last Monday meeting that instead of weakening the Iranian position, Sunday's sabotage has strengthened it. Zarif said that the attack has provided the opportunity to replace older technology with the latest one and given Iran a legitimate right to retaliate. Several reports in the international media, including in Israeli media, had pointed to an Israeli role in the attack on Natanz. Israel is also suspected to be involved in recent attacks on at least 2 Iranian vessels in the region. The Natanz site was also attacked in July last year, and an Iranian nuclear scientist, Mohsen Fakhrizadeh, was assassinated in November. In all these incidents, Iran suspects the role of Israel. Though Israel has never officially claimed responsibility, it has never denied its involvement either. Israel's open opposition to the JCPOA from the outset, claiming that it gives Iran a free hand to pursue its nuclear program and other strategic policies, as well as its active lobbying along with Saudi Arabia, was a major factor in Donald Trump's withdrawal from the deal in 2018. The Trump administration's own strategic calculations and Iran's rising regional influence, which goes against the U.S. imperialist presence in the region, also played a crucial role in the U.S. withdrawal. The Iran deal was signed by Trump's predecessor, Barack Obama, in 2015 after years of negotiations. All international sanctions against Iran were withdrawn following the deal. Since November 2019, Iran had since gradually increased the level of enrichment to about 20% against the allowed 3.67% in the deal. It has also stockpiled more than 2,500 kilograms of enriched uranium against the permitted limit of around 300 kilograms. Though both Trump and now the Biden administrations have expressed their desire to renegotiate the deal to include Iran's regional policy and missile program under its purview, Iran has refused to do so. It maintains the JCPOA is a done deal and there will be no further negotiations. Iran is open for discussions on the other aspects separately. Iran's consistent position and the crucial support extended by Russia and China has forced the Biden administration to seek a more conciliatory stance than its predecessor. Both Russia and China have supported the Iranian stance of lifting all US sanctions before expecting Iran goes back to its commitments under the deal. It is likely that after failing to persuade the Biden administration not to pursue the revival of the deal, Israel has undertaken sabotage tactics to maintain its nuclear hegemony in the region. Iran has stated time and again it does not want to develop a nuclear weapon, and that its nuclear program is for peaceful purposes. Constant US and Israeli aggression targeting Iran for pursuing its legitimate foreign policy goals has tested Iranian resolve and also provided it an opportunity to show its determination.
Credit to our international partners, People's Dispatch, for our international stories. Bless Alumoso brings us the latest happening in the world of sports.
Good afternoon. Let's do some sports updates. Now, the head of European football's governing body has insisted the Champions League will continue with or without the founders of the new competition. Alexander Seferin has promised to punish participants in the Super League and says that any player involved will be banned from the World Cup and Euros. There's more.
Of a new European competition that will see a number of top clubs break away from the Champions League has been met with fierce opposition over the past 24 hours. UEFA has now revealed its stance, with Seferin calling for the football world to rally against the cynical plan that is threatening to cause huge division across continent major leagues. Unveiling the new Champions League format set to take effect in 2024, he stressed more strongly how everyone is united against this disgraceful self-serving proposals fueled by greed above all else. He further revealed that they are all united against the project, which is an exercise in futility, as players who will play in the teams that might feature in the closed league will be banned from the World Cup and Euros. The UEFA boss added that the Champions League will continue without the 12 clubs reportedly founding the Super League. The Super League's formation has been designed to challenge the UEFA Champions League as the biggest competition in European football. All of the clubs that agree to join have been promised $450 million signing up bonuses, with Manchester United, Manchester City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool and Tottenham slated to represent the Premier League in the new competition. Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Juventus, Inter and AC Milan have also pledged to take part, which would significantly reduce the level of competition in the Champions League. Not every major European club is on board with the Super League, with Borussia Dortmund and Porto having already confirmed that they will not be breaking away from the Champions League. Bayern Munich and Paris Saint-Germain are reportedly taking the same stance, with the new competition slated to have a total of 24 participants, including 3 extra founders and 5 qualifiers based on performance criteria.
Well, that's all time will permit us for today's Midday Sports. My name is Blessed Man Alomaso. Ivy Abnadidi Narkie Teye is on standby with the latest entertainment updates. Do stay.
Some entertainment. Lake Bosomtwe is lavishly embossed on the lips of all and sundry for its origin, history and significance. Today, our showbiz segment, we bring you an in-depth look at this unique landmark, which is one of Ghana's finest tourist sites.
Lake Bosomtwe is the only natural lake in Ghana. It is situated within an ancient impact crater that is about 10.5 kilometers in diameter. It is about 30 kilometers southeast of Kumasi, the capital of the Ashanti region, and a popular recreational area. There are about 30 villages near Greater Lake Busumkwe, with a combined population of about 70,000. The most popular amongst the villages where tourists usually settle is Abono. The Ashanti consider Busumkwe a sacred lake. According to traditional belief, the souls of the dead come here to bid farewell to the goddess, Asasea. Because of this, it is considered permissible to fish in the lake only from wooden planks. Legends say that in 1648, an Ashanti hunter named Akurabumpe from the city of Asaman was chasing an injured antelope through the rainforest. Suddenly, the animal disappeared in a small pond. It was as if this body of water wanted to save the animal's life. The hunter never got the antelope, though he settled close to the water and started catching fish. This place he named Busumkwe, meaning antelope guard. This story suggests that at that time, the lake level was very low. The large dead trees standing offshore in the lake also evidence this, for they are over 300 years old. The following centuries saw several wars about the lake as both the Ashanti and the Achim clashed, each claiming area. The Ashanti prevailed. Each village in the lake area has its own shrine or fetish grove. With the arrival of Christianity, some people gave up former beliefs, though many continue to seek traditional help in bad times or against diseases. The Abrojum stone is held to be the spiritual center of the lake. Here, when there is such poor fishing, it is considered a bad omen. The lake people sacrifice a cow. This act is celebrated in the presence of His Majesty, the Ashanti King, the Asantehene himself. In the ceremony, the cow's innards are given to the stone and the rest is thrown into the lake. The crowd rushes into the water with cutlasses and axes to take their share of the meat. This is an event very much worth seeing. However, as such an omen depends on various factors, it is hardly predictable. There is a traditional taboo against touching the water with iron, and modern boats are not considered appropriate. The pedua, a wooden plank requiring considerable skill to maneuver, is the legitimate method. Other taboos such as not washing, bathing or throwing effluent into the lake that were formerly strictly observed aided in maintaining the purity and health of the lake. Unfortunately, these taboos are not observed by residents or visitors due to their weak implementation by the Abono Traditional Council.
That's all for today's Pan-African News on Pan-African Television. Do join us at 6:30 p.m. for more news. My name, Ivy Abna Dede Nakita Youth Empowerment Show is next.
And don't think I decided true man capsules and so at their brand. I can't think what's a good deal to me, dear Bichi. And the account now you're bear man and a wow.
Hello, Ghana. I introduce you to the #1 combined harvesters in the whole universe, the World Combined Harvester. World Combined Harvesters are very efficient and drastically reduce post-harvest losses. It's cost-effective with low operating expenses, easy and comfortable to operate, works well both on wet land as well as dry land. World Combined Harvesters come with automatic gear drive, diesel-powered engines, 1.77 cubic meter grain storage tanks, 2.2 meter cutting width, 360-degree unloading pipe, and a sunshade. World Combined Harvesters are best suited for crops such as rice, corn, wheat, and soya bean. To buy or hire a World Combined Harvester, kindly call the sole distributor, CAM Trading and Farms Limited, on 0546 372014 or 0278 223811. I repeat, 0546 372014 or 0278 223811. World Combined Harvesters, your number one combined harvester in the whole wide world.
Yare bakwa ehaye mema pa, especially ya yenya 40 years and above no efire prostate ehon obetumenya prostate enlargement and after prostatitis se wokwa yare sabia na catch us wo PSA level eko higher kaina hu se wo prostate no ehon ya tochema se hu se wo chim ansa na wadwonso wo dwonso na emu apai anaso edu anadwo a wota dwonso a ene kaina hu se wonya prostate disorder. So to me didi ye and answer what tatinate in wapom and answer when your daily supplement be a bit to me aboa ama prostate no ejina na nice. Somebody man church way a natural link company at one day pros love capsules a eboa mberima prostate true man and a dinner capsules eboa emba e feature call over to me afro mo.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by FDA.
Hello, baby. It's me, Boga I. What feeling now?
Hey, what funny?
Oh, what about that?
Oh my God, what's wrong me?
I'm we are fearful for Gecko.
Brother, we are funny. Here, Ruta Life.
Okay, Ruta Life.
Ruta natural products here. I am tropical herbs here. And now what's a year? Ruta Life. What about you fatty fume? No way, clean the system. No, my come on.
Romantic.
Kaide, Ruta mixture, autumn malaria, and a Ruta Titanic or Ruta natural. In Rupapa no. In Ria. Oh, ye manimpa, on in Fidawa tree. About an hour, one benufu. On ya painful.
I didn't come with you.
I'm my friend on a couple there. So those candy about Kumias was a bit rubber.
Hey, you, baby. Yes. So when you bought for, and I was a mobile. Bought for ointment. Whatever. Bought for in a drew. Oh, yes, when you bought for a drew, we make the swan. Sorry, what's it? A drew when I walk up, rubber memoir. Your body man, friend, Mali, po, passoa. What true for was me dancing in one bridge. What am I dancing in your copas and other from Wabami Haya? A young cook to get Usisi. Waposu, a woman and a timbre museno, Nemuyania. So when your ultimate TV the far. See what can you know why it won't be sway? Made a waffle cream a treaty money in pimples, a crock, a jam, a proper one among the area would weigh. What the and chili good siumu? Now the waffle soap can the straswa, 5 minutes a cheap. Now the waffle cream a strasso, a best sunny in from a huato. Waffle herbal products. Or Manfra Jatumunti was the Male, Popa, Passoa.
Today, we can't trust sources of water anymore. Confidence is gone due to human activities. Same human activities introduces well-mechanized machines which purifies water. I bring to you ultimate natural mineral water. Deep from underground, tasty, well-purified and corporately packaged. Ultimate natural mineral water. Let's drink the new. For bulk, call 020-379-1888 or 0244-515-801. Ultimate natural mineral water. My water, your water, our water.
Why are you back? Yes.
What appointment no?
Mami, one kasa cry, maybe I got some about poor. A dray, what woman in my bush of war. Me, mammy, one to two. A bar, Ontiminda, and a boa fontment, I don't know, got to get, but be better to two on Ipetium, a boa fontment, and tia cry a bunnyman name. Male, Papa, swear, my TB the farm.
Can you know why it want me sway? Made the waffle cream a treaty money in a pimples, a crow, a jam, a proper one amani area would way. What the and chili good siumu? Now the waffle soap can the straswa, 5 minutes at chi. Now the waffle cream a strasso, a best sunny in air from a huato. Waffle herbal products.
Or Manfra Gatumiti, or some Male, Papa, Passoir.
Hello, Ghana. I introduce you to the #1 combined harvesters in the whole universe, the World Combined Harvester.